Hey guys, it's Miss Allwein here again. I have some math problems that I thought I would go through in case you wanted to do some practice on your own at home. If you want to do them along with me while I do them, that is great. If you're wanting more of a challenge, you could pause before I solve the problem and you could try it out on your own. I'm going to do a couple of these, so feel free to do this first one with me, and you can always pause the other ones to give yourself a challenge. You can also go ahead and reuse the problems. You could change the numbers that you're given to try it out with some harder numbers or whatever you want to do. So I printed a couple of our story problems. Look, they're the exact format you're used to in the classroom. This one is about watermelons. So I'm going to read it to you. I have my whiteboard here. I already set it up with my 3 parts for our success criteria: taking notes, solving, and communicating the answer. You can do this on any kind of scrap paper. You can do this in a notebook, on computer paper. You could even get some chalk and go outside and do it if you're outside getting some fresh air. You can solve anyway. Or you can just watch and just make sure your brain still knows how to solve a story problem. Alright, so I'm going to read it to you. It says, Kyle ate 7 slices of watermelon. Ben ate 4 slices of watermelon. How many fewer slices of watermelon did Ben eat than Kyle? So, like I'm always telling you, you know how to do the math. It's figuring out what the question's asking. That's where it can get tricky. So, what's the first thing we know? Well, we know Kyle ate 7 slices of watermelon. So, in our notes, the simpler the better. I'm going to put a K for Kyle, and I'm going to say 7S for 7 slices of watermelon. Very simple. If you are teaching your parents how we do our story problems, parents' notes are where we put our important information to solve, and abbreviations and simplicity is key, and it actually helps to solve more accurately and efficiently. So Kyle ate 7 slices. I know Ben ate 4 slices, so I'm going to put a B and then 4S. Alright? So I need one more thing in my notes. What is the problem asking me to do? It does not want me to tell the total they ate altogether. It says how many fewer slices of watermelon did Ben eat than Kyle. So, in my notes, I'm going to put question mark fewer. That's what I'm solving. How many fewer? Now, we know when we are subtracting, we always have to start with the bigger number, right? So, there's always 2 different ways you can solve this problem. You can always add or subtract to solve. Think of this, if you're a first grader from my classroom, as the zoo comparison problem on our back math wall. You are comparing the number of Kyle's watermelon slices and Ben's, and we want to know how many fewer or how many less Ben ate. So, I'm going to set up my equation first. I'm going to solve a subtraction. So I'm going to start with my bigger number, which is 7. I'm going to write my equation as 7 minus 4 equals. And that should tell me when I solve it how many fewer slices Ben ate than Kyle. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to draw a picture. I'm going to draw 7 circles for Kyle's total number of watermelon slices, since that's the bigger number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I bet you're glad that you have become so efficient with drawing pictures to solve math problems now that you're at home. You don't need a number line to solve. You don't need manipulatives. You know how to do it with a picture, right? Okay, so I drew 7 circles. Now, if you were here with me, I'd ask you what we should do next. And I know your smart math brains would say, let's take away 4 because I decided I'm subtracting. So I'm going to cross out 4 circles for Ben slices. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm being nice and neat so that I don't get confused with my picture. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to count how many are left. 1, 2, 3. So I know that 7 minus 4 equals 3. So now I have an equation and I have a picture that shows how I solved. The last part is I need to communicate my answer. That's where I'm going to go back. If you were looking at this problem with me, I would say go back and look at what it's asking you to solve. It says how many fewer slices of watermelon did Ben eat than Kyle? So I'm going to look at that. I'm going to do a capital letter because we solve with a complete sentence with our communication. So I'm going to say Ben ate 3 fewer slices. Period. Because, again, complete sentence. I don't need to write anything more than that. I'm communicating what I just solved efficiently. So Ben ate 3 fewer slices. And that is one way you could solve this story problem. Again, I know a lot of you like to add to solve, and that's perfectly fine as long as you get the correct answer and as long as you are answering the question that is asked. So hopefully that refreshes your brain. Like I said, when I do the next story problem, if you feel like pausing to challenge yourself, go ahead and do that. That's a great idea. If not, run through it with me the first time and then try it on your own. I wish you guys were here with me solving math problems, but I guess this is the next best thing, and I'm really proud of you guys for taking this time to do schoolwork while you're at home.